how peace leads to greater profit when it comes to creating more peace in relationships. Because my name, Irina, means peace, but I wasn't always peaceful because I grew up in an abusive family. And then I developed this edge and this drive to succeed and to achieve, which gave me that a little bit of fight to survive instinct. And through a spiritual epiphany, I realized that my life is to be about peace, because my name Irina means peace, and I was doing it all wrong, fighting, when in fact way more can be achieved when we are peaceful. So this is why I'm doing this series of Q&A on how to navigate relationships and win negotiations. What is peace? When we look at the definition from the dictionary, peace means freedom from disturbance. Peace means tranquility. Serenity is another translation of the word peace. I'm talking about peace in the concept of business. And in business, it's in a team, creating peace, it's more of a societal kind of concept. So I'm going to read what Wikipedia says about peace. Is a concept of societal friendship and harmony in the absence of hostility and violence. And we only hope that our work environment can be free of hostility and violence. In a social sense, peace is commonly used to mean lack of conflict and freedom from fear or violence between individuals or groups. And as a CEO leader of your organization, of your company, definitely having peace within all the relationships in the team is probably a big goal, because peace leads to greater profits, and I'll explain in a little bit. I love this quote because it's what is aligned with what we're talking. Peace is not the absence of conflict, it's the ability to handle conflict by peaceful means. What do I mean about that? When we are in a business, we innovate, we create, conflict will always arise, even with our most loving customers and maybe long-term clients that gave us business and we did good for them. Conflict can arise because conflict is that desire to make something better in the way the individual understands. So when a client requests you to do something that maybe was not in your proposal, they desire to make it better for their company. But let's say you didn't have that included in your proposal, and it creates trouble because maybe you don't have resources, or you're going to go over budget or over time. So you can say that disturbs the peace, the harmony of the relationship. The idea, and I'll show you the next slide, the idea is that disturbance a ripple or a wave? Whenever conflict arises, if we have our own inner peace and if we have worked on ourselves, the conflict can be a little ripple, like you see the drop in the water, and then after maybe a few minutes, it will become peaceful again, or it can make a wave when a rage or a anger rides inside of you or inside of the other person, and that's when trouble appears. We have to work on ourselves to be at peace. Inner peace leads to outer peace. When we're when we have inner peace and we know what triggers us, we know what we want, we know what is necessary for us to fulfill our goals, to lead our business to success, to create profit in the business, to create the next level of success, then when a conflict arises, your first job is to understand what exactly bothered you. And for that, my process is always going to your journal. Because when you write things down, you can see a logic. I have an engineering background and I like to look at things and understand what thing led to the next. So when you only have thoughts in your head, and I don't know about you, I don't know if you ever lost a night of sleep because you're tossing and turning, talking with someone in your head. I've done it. I've done it many times. When you're tossing and turning, sometimes the brain has this, it's abstract. It doesn't allow you to look at the situation objectively because thoughts go round and round in your head and they sometimes are repetitive. They don't lead to a resolution. So taking a journal, even if it's night and you're tossing and turning, turn on the light and write down what bothers me about these situations. What are my fears? What would I like as a result? What would be my ideal solution? What do I think the other person wants, right? Because in a conflict, there are two people in a disagreement. I don't know if you want to call it conflict or disagreement. There are two people that have desires, and both people usually are looking for ways to solve, to find a solution for themselves. And in a disagreement, both people think that they're right. So your job is not to convince the other person that you are right, because they will try to convince you that they are right. Your job is to figure out what bothers you and what do you see as a win for yourself. And then what do you see as a win for the other person? Because even if we have a negotiation where we win and the other person loses, that's not a relationship that's going to continue for a long time, and it's not going to continue successfully. So you always look at what is a win for me and a win for the other person. That doesn't mean that you can give the other person what they want, because maybe it's not possible or it's not fair. But think about what would be something that they will find as a win, when you also win. So going to your journal and writing down all of those thoughts help you calm down, and maybe then afterwards you will be able to go back to sleep and rest and have a peaceful night of sleep. Because I'm now going to talk about profit, you will see that conflict, and when we're not at peace, makes us lose energy, therefore lose profit. The definition of profit is the difference between the amount earned and the amount spent in producing something. So if you want to get a result in your business, if you are in a service business, then you put some effort towards the result you want to create. When you are at peace, all of that effort goes towards producing the result. When everyone in your team agrees on the path forward, then everyone on your team puts that effort towards the result, and the efficiency increases. But when we're not at peace, a lot of energy is wasted unproductively. For us, as the CEO, founder of the company, If you're not at peace, you lose sleep, then you're not productive the next day, or you cannot make the best decisions, right? For the people in your team, if there is conflict in the team, instead of them working towards their deliverables, they are going to work towards resolving conflict externally or internally within themselves. Some people, they don't like conflict. Most people don't like conflict. Even the people that say they like conflict because they are like feisty or assertive, it's not true. None of us like conflict because our brain and our limbic system, I'm not an expert in anatomy, so if I say the wrong thing, forgive me, but our nervous system gets distracted when there is conflict, and our flight or fight response makes us not be even that smart when there is conflict. So we do like peace. We like to live in peace, and peace is our natural state. So we like to come back to peace. When there is conflict, people lose a lot of energy and they lose a lot of brain power as well. And therefore, their work is not being done. And then it's not efficient, and then profit are lost.